Alright. Welcome. We're reading number 6 of today's SCP reading stream. It is called Star Signals. And we're past the halfway point now. I'm doing okay, I would say. I was a bit exhausted reading the first two ones, but I think I am doing okay. Maybe I'm not doing that okay because from the peripheral of my vision here, I for a moment thought something crawled across the floor. So I'm like, this is how I die. Am I right, Henry? You protect me, Henry, right? Yeah, okay, maybe it's. I mean, I'll protect you for sure, but maybe Henry has a each man to themselves kind of ideal. Who knows? If you enjoy me reading these SCPs, then please give it. Ooh, it's a highly rated one. Please give it a thumbs up and write in the comments what you think of this SCP. You can also write like when was the first time you read it and like what your thoughts were back then. You don't have to like say what your thoughts are now. Just interact, and the subscribe button is right nearby anyway as well, so I might as well click that while you're at it. I'm just saying. I'm just suggesting. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just giving you some simple suggestions. Star signal. Save. A single copy of SCP-1425 is to be kept in a double-locked archive in storage site 40. Access to the document is to be completely restricted, bearing express written permission of at least 2 of the following officials: the site director, the EID chief, the CMA head, or an O5 personnel. A second copy is contained in an undisclosed location on the procedures divulged only to O5 council members. All forms of printed and televised media available throughout the United States are to be monitored for the appearance of keywords and key symbols from the list provided in CMA document A. Any located additional copies of SCP-1425 are to be turned over to CMA custody for destruction. In the event that a second SCP-1425 event begins to manifest, contact an official listed above immediately to initiate Protocol Ophiuchus. Description: SCP-1425 is a hardcover book measuring 20 times 35 times 5 centimeters and published in 2005 by the company. Redacted. Books, now defunct. See Operational Stargazer Files. The front cover bears the title Star Signal. The book cover has the following description. Did you know that some of the stars in the sky are dead, but we'll still see the ancient images? With the best-selling novel Star Signal sold in 4 countries and translated into hundreds of languages, you too can tune into the celestial frequencies and then become like the stars. Knowing the SCP Foundation world, this is a worrisome statement. Especially after saying, do you know some of the stars are dead? That's like talking about like did you know that pharaohs got wrapped up in bandages before they got put into a sarcophagus? Well, if you follow this, you can become a pharaoh yourself, and you're like, wait, I know you're trying to sell to me that I want to become a pharaoh, but you just told me that they get fucking wrapped up and put in a sarcophagus and all that. Of course, in this case, you're already dead, but you know what I mean. I'm just trying to say it's kind of weird to try to sell it as a positive thing when just a moment ago you said something horrifying, technically horrifying, the fact that a lot of stars are dead, but we still see the lights. That's not horrifying. That's just mysterious and cool. But yeah, still, being told that you become the stars if you read this book after being told some of the stars are dead, it's just ominous. When the subject reads the full text of SCP-1425, the book exerts a mildly reality-warping effect, influenced by the subject's desire, which in turn are influenced by SCP-1425, see below. When a sufficiently large number of subjects are exposed to this effect, further complications arise in terms of mental health and the integrity of space-time, see Event Log 5. The document is a non-fiction book of the self-help genre. Advertised as a manual which teaches the use of the 5-step star signal method to achieve the reader's dreams and ambitions. The method itself is a program of visualization reinforced through mantras and positive affirmations. Unlike nearly all books of the self-help, has no content regarding practical measures to achieve goals. Instead, it speaks entirely on the star focuses and other wishful thinking rituals. These exercises, when conducted properly, demonstrably Is that really correct? Huh.
Demonstrably,
okay. Influence reality, beginning with a direct influence on the appearance of the star used in exercise. In the exercise, a reader who expresses a wish to win the lottery will receive a winning ticket within the next week. Any reader whose goal is a new car will find themselves driving it next week. The amount of work invested into achieving the goal outside of performing the prescribed rituals has only a supplementary effect. A subject who makes no special effort to pursue the focused desire will still succeed at a rate documented at roughly 8%. However, if the instructions for reading order and frequency are not followed correctly, the anomalous effect is either greatly diminished or fails entirely. This sounds very powerful, to be honest. It sounds like most of your wishes can come true, and who knows what the limit is. In early chapters, these exercises are focused on two things: the exact goals that the reader has in mind and the concentration on certain stars in the sky. Why is my left side of my face so itchy? This activity is connected to the titular star signal. SCP-1425 claims that the light emitted by stars carries a phenomenological frequency, which is unique to each star and which is connected to phenomenological frequency of each human mind. Each of the book's 10th chapter ends with the star focus ritual, that is a meditation performed each night, when the central focus being a celestial body. The celestial body used is determined by a calendar given in the prologue. This ensures that all readers at any given time are focusing on the same place, no matter which section of the book they are reading. The 10th chapter is an exception. See document A. So throughout its pages, SCP-1425 contains verbal devices intended to influence the mind of the reader during exercises. These include the combination of memetic triggers and neutral linguistic programming to make the subject receptive to the ideas presented in the text and to optimize the results of its anomalous effect. Once the core ideas of the book have been introduced and worked upon, visualization exercises begin to include concentration on other concepts, including political and philosophical messages. The latter chapters of the book serve to alter the thoughts and desires of the user to conform it to a standard that would remain consistent across readers of the text. Approximately 6% of the readers who read the entirety of SCP-1425 exhibit a mental condition called Ojai syndrome. See event log 2005. Okay. SCP-1425 is believed to have been written and published by operators of the Fifth Church. What's the 50th hub? Okay, so hey Defo, you gotta stop me. You'll do, but then nothing. No, really come on, we ain't cooks. You might ask why you're here. Well, that's because you're part of the 50th Church. You were drawn here a long time ago, as a matter of fact. You didn't have much to say in the matter. You could say it's something like fate, predestination, or maybe retro-cause reality. Maybe it's backwards like that. Who knows? Maybe it's forwards too. On a religious type, you say. Oh, well, that's fine. We ain't into praying and all that either. A lot of us are backsliders. Church is just one of the words people throw around. 50th Church, 50th Collective, 50th Book Publishing, 50th Psychedelic Surf Rock, 50th Lip Balm, etc. It's 50th, is all that matters. What does 50ism mean? Well, that's not a name my congregation came up with. A while back, there was a bunch of new agey hip types who went and published a book. Yanks called themselves the Fifth Church, and that name stuck. Oh yeah, 50th, not 50th. Sorry, excuse me, 50th classification. But the most likely case is that there are always 5 manifestations of the 50ism. Always. There's usually a cult up north, out west, and well, yours truly, I never heard of no commie 50th or nothing. There's even been 50ism all throughout time. Think of the 50th protozoans. Think of the 50th suns, hearken or creation the concept of the universe. What makes them 50th? 50th. My god, that word is so weird to say. Patterns, signals, magic, the impossible. A 50th concept will slowly transcend reality. When the concept blossoms, it falls like ripened fruit, brother, all to be consumed and shat by the Lord glowing hands himself becomes reality. We see the fifth world, brother, and we too shall fall like the ekpyrotic house before us, and be shat as they were. Eventually, our southern 50th. Oh god. Gotcha. I've been around for years. Maybe someone's keeping us from blowing downwind. Hate to be paranoid. Hate to think something out there was scared of the last southern 50th after they done came to term. But enough with all this morbid talk about dying in different other universally force of nature and top secret power government organizations. Yeah, we know about you. We're getting real tired of your shit. We're still alive, so to hell with you. To hell with this 50ism. And talk about 50ism. We got money to raise. Get out of my face. Join me in other space. Roll out frog village. Light those candles. Send check or money order to world 390 so that our corpses may bloat and explode and form. That heaping viscera will rise again as pungent fumes. What the fuck happened at the end there? So this one's the first. This one's the first one where it has to do with them. And the tales of the 50s influence. Do it yourself. So okay. Yeah, an influential cult whose members consist largely of celebrities, including actors, musicians, authors, television hosts, and other personalities. At the time, the list of confirmed 50th numbered, with the list of suspected cultists accounted in excess of. Many of these confirmed individuals were easily identified through public appearance wearing the trademark starstone, a polished green stone worn as a necklace, bracelet, or other accessory. These connections were utilized by the 50th Fellowship in the form of the celebrity endorsement and widespread media coverage used to make SB-1425 quickly and exceptionally popular. Through these measures, as well as substantial word-of-mouth advertising, Star Signal became a national bestseller within 2 weeks of publication and held this position until the book was virtually purged from public knowledge by the SCP Foundation using Protocol Ophiuchus. Document A, excerpts. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna stand up for a little bit. Maybe even read from here. The following passages are taken directly from the text of SCP-1425. These excerpts have been selected to minimize exposure to computer hazardous mimetic triggers and other textual anomalies. I know you cannot see my face right now, I just need to stand up a little bit. Chapter 2, Section 3, the whole you exist around. Do you feel a void in your life? Everyone does, whether they know it or not. Think about it. You can feel it inside you right now, a heavy emptiness in the middle of your chest. It's a reflection of the one in your existence, like particles and quantum entanglement. Do you remember how we talked about quantum entanglement? No, not yes. Yes, you do. Yes, you feel the emptiness. This is good. It's a blank slot waiting for you to fill it up with your deepest desire until your deepest desire is pushing up into your throat. You will gag on your need, and until you do, it is a resonation space. For you to build your will like organ music in a cathedral, hear the music now. This is not a metaphor. If your will is strong enough, There will be music now. Remember now that nothing in this book is a metaphor. That was Chapter 2, Section 3. Chapter 3, taking effect, Section 5, you are in time. Star focus, find your night spot and begin to focus on your star. Prologue, Section 3, star focus calendar. April, Epsilon Sagittari. If you can't find it in your star chart, it's the base of the hunter's bow and the brightest star in the constellation. As you stare up into it, use your mind-clearing word. Your meditation is, now is our time. Here's our space. We take your star. We hold your bonds. We pay your debt. Don't worry about memorization. Anytime you use your mind-clearing word, you'll remember them, even if you only read them once. If you do it right, your star will disappear. You'll feel it resonating with the others in your void. Chapter 5, end of Act 1, Section 4, 2 days. If you have read this book correctly and you have tomorrow is the start of the weekend. Savor it. The 5-day work week is an artifact of your world. You'll find out all about that on Monday. During the next 2 days, put this book down. Don't pick it up. Yes, this means 2 days without your star exercises. Yes, this means that for 2 days your will is not going to be with you. Don't even think about it after the end of this sentence. Your will is being used for your good. That sounds ominous. Chapter 6. The fifth world, Section 2, the fifth reason. In your current society, you are encouraged to be yourself, as if this is the key to making your desires real. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. You can't be anyone other than yourself. If you were to become someone else, you would still be you, and you would still be someone who is someone else. There's no getting out from under existence, because you can't be anyone else. It stands to reason that if you want to change reality, it is the world that must change to suit you. You must mold your phenomenological landscape into one where all your goals are achieved. Now imagine that the place where your desire are made real has a name. It's called the fifth world. The fifth world is the cosmos twisted around you into the shape you will wish for. It has never been, but you can make it so. If the current world is like a tight colored suit, then the fifth world is like a flowing robe that allows complete freedom of movement. You will never truly move before you move into the fifth world. You will feel like a square on a piece of paper who was only just about up and down. Chapter 9. Do not look away from the book. Section 3. Here and now. Some helpful advice I will save you in your coming weeks. Mirrors are for other people. Sit in a dark room by yourself for at least 1 hour per day. Move around as much as you're made to. If you feel yourself developing a soul, go outside immediately and follow the direction of the smoke until you meet them. Oh, we're gonna get there in a month. I always listen to the sound salon of wait. It says here, always listen for the sound salon of okay. That does not look like you can, because even if you swap it and if you mirror it, doesn't look like anything you're supposed to like crack from looking at it. Love the Archons. When you hate them, they see you. Chapter 10. You cannot wake up. Section 1. Slon tilnatle opfift slon plr children talento suckpe. Is that supposed to be like SCP? Play remaining sample expunged. And then we have event log 2, event log 5, level 2 clearance or higher only. Oh boy. Oh my god. This is the longest SCP of the stream so far, that's for sure. Okay, the following event occurred between the publication date of SB 1425, April 22nd, 2005, and the official end date of event 1425, May 11th, 2005. Is this the one that, yeah, it is highly rated, so it makes sense. It has a lot of things to read. Day, Monday. Fucking piss off, little insect. Monday, 4th, 22nd. The second print run of SCP-1425 is completed simultaneously at 3 locations. The redacted publishing house, main printing facility, then located in redacted Texas, a small facility located in redacted Maine, and third branch in redacted England. The first 2 factories ship SCP-1425 to bookstores across America. The third is distributed throughout the British Isles. The first print run was, according to the recovered documentation, a private distribution amongst members of the Fifth Church to be passed to friends and families. Day 8, Monday, 4th, 2029. Television host. Name withheld following Operation Stargazer Protocol. Daytime talk show. Airs its monthly reading cycle special. The entirety of the episode is devoted to the promotion of SCP-1425. The host claims that star signals rocked her world and that you'll see and feel the changes almost instantly. At the 31-minute mark, her guest Hugh Laurie jokes that the book advice may be responsible for the host's success. He adds, "I hope nobody hates you." The host looks at the copy of SCP-1425 in her hands for 4 seconds before marking, "Fuck, it's finding the holes." The sign is muted in its entirety in the West Coast feed, but apparently uncensored in the live airing, steering much controversy on the subject of obscenity in television. Sales of SCP-1425 grew to over 50 times the current rate over the coming week. Yeah, of course, everybody wants something. We all have wishes. Day 12, Friday, 5th, 3rd. And it's so itchy, I don't understand. Reports of mental illness begin to increase in the southwestern United States. In Ojai, California, the Boyer family, a 45-year-old father, a 50-year-old mother, and a 24-year-old daughter are admitted to an Ojai mental institution following what appears to be 3 simultaneous episodes of glossolalia and violent and delusional behavior. The trio is located in a street several miles from their homes, conversing loudly to each other about the surroundings. Witnesses report overhearing the remarks, "I love how the buildings don't line up anymore, and once I get conversant, I'll fix your tongues if I have to." When a bystander approached the Boyars, the mother remarks that it is not supposed to be out. The father begins to assault the bystander with a pocket knife. Local law enforcement is notified, and when officers arrive, the 24-year-old is a witness. As a witness reports, shouting nonsense speculated to be similar to the text of Chapter 10 of SCP-1425 to the bystander who is being held down by the father and mother. The bystander is being made to repeat these utterances. When the bystander makes an error in punctuation, the father carves into 4 long existing cuts made on the bystander's face, forming a square. The 3 are arrested, and bystanders is admitted to a local hospital for bruises and several lacerations. I mean, yeah. Clearly, like, them being arrested, like, they should go to jail. They should be sent to prison because that's assault. Even if it's an SCP that does that thing to them, they cannot live a normal life after that. Day 13, Saturday, 5th, 4 Foundation agents investigate the case of the Boyars, determine a possible link between the outburst and the book title Star Signal. The Boyars copy is confiscated for examination, as well as a new copy from a local bookstore. Researchers note that although Star Signal has been available on the market for nearly 2 weeks, no critical review or other analytical reports have been published in newspaper nor on television, and roughly 8% of online reviews have been deleted by the website's owner. This is later determined to be an intentional action to the part of the Fifth Church, part of the SCP-1425's mind-altering effect, as a reluctance to openly discuss the actual text of the publication, even in celebrity endorsement. Day 14, Sunday, 5th, Foundation researchers studying Star Signal confirmed that the connection with the recent upswing in mental hospital admittance and arrest for irrational behavior. Most of these affected by the syndromes are non-violent, but all identifying cases contain the common threat of peculiarly delusional statements and speaking in an indecipherable, consonant-heavy language. Following in-depth analysis, Star Signal is classified as an anomalous cognitive hazard and designated SCP-1425 research alert for site director. As due to SCP designation of the text star signal, the Foundation is experiencing a massive containment breach. Foundation agents determined that based on the air date of the Reading Circle episode of the redacted television show, SCP-1425 restrict strict instructions on how it is to be read, beginning on Monday and continuing for 1 chapter per day, each weekday for 2 weeks. And the manifestation of the anomalous effect when the subject completes the full text of SCP-1425, the spike in symptoms predicted by researcher will be experienced on day 19, Friday, May 10th. When the readers who purchase the book on the same day as the episode aired will have completed the program. Day 15, Monday, 5th, 6th. Foundation researchers in storage site 40 and the Foundation agents at 05 headquarters in conjunction with Foundation subdivision, the CMA Communication Moderation Agency and ED retracted. Lay out a process for retrieving, containing, and destroying as many instances of SCP-1425 as possible. This plan is designated protocol. Focus steps taken immediately upon implementation include the redacted. Publishing company is determined to be front for the Fifth Church and is ceased. MTF Theta 11 Wranglers, MTF Gamma 4 Moneylenders, and MTF Lambda 21 Cave Dwellers are sent to the Texas, Maine, and England printing facilities respectively. All MTFs are met with armed resistance. And engage with no friendly casualties. Publication of SCP-1425 is ended. The publisher headquarters in redacted. California is commandeered by MTF Phi 1 hostile takeover. An international recall is issued. Through the use of EID intelligence, Foundation agents circumvent the star signal. Media blackout. The press release claims that the 11th chapter has been omitted and the 10th chapter has been severely misprinted. Consumers are given an incentive of $25 voucher for returning a copy of Star Signal. Bookstore in America and England pulled the stock of SCP-1425 for recall. The CMA monitors all national broadcasts, especially networking television, for anomalies related to SCP-1425. Any such anomalies are to be removed from broadcasting through one of several classified means. Further action redacted. Additionally, the first broadcast to be intercepted through the use of protocol Focus is during the daytime talk show, which features further promotion of SCP-1425. Television host conducts an interview with musician Beck at the 18-minute mark. The following incident occurs. I hear that you're very spiritual. Does it influence your work? Yeah, it has to be. It's an influence on everything, no matter what I'm doing. Yeah, I try to keep grounded. That's the emphasis on try to. There's a reason why it's called practicing. Spiritually, you're never good at... Can I just say something? The camera angle changes to close-up of face. The host is staring directly at the viewer. You have to keep calm. Take a good deep breath, remember? But the man said, stars may die in 3s, but worlds die in 5s. Like insects injected with maggots. Turning back to her guest. What were we talking about? I don't actually remember. We were talking about celebrities. Yes, I wanted to ask you, died recently? Oh, you sigh sadly. How has it affected you? Why don't I just say, I think we'll stay together? Audience cheers. The network is contacted by the Foundation and releases a public statement that is suffering from exhaustion, will not be taping episodes in the following week. Is unable to be located for the entertainment. This must be the person who interviewed her, huh? Just double check. Oh, this is... Okay. Gotta get at it. Come on. Day 16, Tuesday, 5th, 7th. Since day 12, several dozen instances of behavior similar to that of the Boyer family have been publicly reported. The mental illness is dubbed Ojai syndrome in television, online, and newspaper reports, and it is to the general public entirely unexplained. Foundation testing on subjects with the disorder has demonstrated that a moderate dosage of Class B amnestics is effective in treating Ojai syndrome. Broadcast intercepted by Protocol Ophiuchus, 24 hours news network on interview between Pundit and Parliament member redacted. Began to cover events which have never actually occurred. The MP, for example, considered the consequences of a revolution in India in 1921, which he describes as shorter than Boston Massacre and 10 times as bloody. A transcript of the end of the interview is provided here. You know, there are some people out there who believe that if we wish something didn't happen high enough, it really didn't happen. And they're right, you know. It's a bad quality, isn't it? They don't have to wish very hard, but there have to be a lot of suckers. It works both ways, you know. I find my own assistants unable to tell me whether Gandhi ever committed public suicide. They honestly can't remember. This isn't a matter of poor education. In university, they were completely aware of what had happened at the time. Ask them about the machine elves sometime. See how many they can name. At this point, goodness no, they couldn't name a Darrow that killed their own parents. Hey, why hasn't your prime minister been eaten yet? Give it a week. Hell, give it until Friday. It's always great to see you. Come back on if you can be outside next week. Thanks, I'll take you up on that. Anyway, let's go back to the interviewer's co-host is visibly uncomfortable. Are we still on? Yes, you are. You fucked. Day 17, Wednesday, 5th. Hey, man, I wish I had somebody massaging me right now. Recalls a moderate success. Approximately 200,000 instances of SCP-1425 are confiscated. That's a lot of instances. And destroyed by incineration. An additional claim is released to the press, indicating that copies of Star Signal may have been contaminated with resin due to an attack by a domestic terrorist. Various subjects who are afflicted with Ojai syndrome are gathered by the Foundation and administered a series of doses of Class B amnestics. They return to the mental ill facilities with a sharp decline in symptoms. The Foundation is granted emergency permission by the CDC and the NHS to treat Ojai syndrome sufferers following a partially fabricated presentation in which the illness is presented as a condition caused by a parasitic organism. Several international cases are reported about. These are highly sparse and too difficult to track. Broadcast intercepted by Protocol Ophiuchus, North Carolina Public Access Children Program. Peppy Backyard, the host, a man in a rapid makeup referred to as Peppy, is speaking to several children sitting on the set in a semicircle. Alright kids, I think you'll be surprised by our next guest. He's a clown that teaches as well as he learns and dishes out as well as he takes it, because nobody hates... We don't have a guest today, Peppy. Then what are we doing? This episode is about being creative. Really, sorry, I got distracted. I guess, kids, pay close attention. I'll teach you how to make candles out of whoever you find lying around. Hey, what? No, stop being such a square. Cut. Come on. Pull out the hair a little bit. Yeah. Thursday, 5th 9th. The rate at which instances of SCP-1425 are confiscated begins to slow. Most remaining readers are under the influence of SCP-1425 suggestion and have no intention of relinquishing their copy of the text. In metropolitan areas across coastal America and major cities in Britain, as well as towns in the southern US near Foundation facilities and known to be areas where the sect known as Southern Fifth-theism has taken root, agents travel from door to door in hazardous material suits, using the cover story that copies of star signals have been contaminated by a rise in power. A small percentage of occupied houses contained subjects moderately affected by SCP-1425 who resisted agents who resorted to physical coercion in confiscation. SCP-1425 during the personal intervention operations of days 18 and 19. 9 subjects under the effects of SCP-1425 are terminated in America due to the impeding the continued execution of protocol officers, and only 4 such incidents occur in England. In Britain, where the Fifth Church influence seems to be much weaker, SCP-1425 is believed to be almost entirely eradicated. That's good. That's a step. In an incident quickly concealed by the United States government, 3 senators, names redacted, attempt to report President George W. Bush to the FBI. In the official report, the legislative officials claim that President Bush is imposturing because he was executed months ago. The senators go on to suggest a live execution on broadcast television, which will definitely take. Anonymously insists that it be hosted by comedian Dana Carvey, who could have his fingers force-fed to him as an opening sketch. Excuse me. Broadcast intercepted by protocol officers. I don't know how to say this at all. The main 9th episode of popular talent show American Idol is removed from air in its entirety. After approximately 10 minutes of advertisement and preliminary introduction, the host Ryan Seacrest stops when introducing the first contest first contestant. Transcripts follows. Okay, now it's 2 hours and we're still at the number 6. I hope 7, 8, 9, 10 are not as long. Now let's get down to business. You probably remember our first singer from last week when he made his version of Paula, referring to Judge Paula Abdul. Oh, are you crying? Josh hands over her face and her voice is shaking. I just feel kind of sick. Ladies and gentlemen, Paul had a long week. Audience laughs. You think it might be happening? I think you need to go on with the show. Simon Cowell, another talent. I'm not going to try to impersonate Simon Cowell. Another talent judge on the program is sitting to Paul's left. No, we want to hear about this. I don't know how to. I cannot copy him. I think it's coming up. I just want to let everyone know right now, Paula can't see us. Her vision is obscured by a world that's been slaughtered like a cat. Fresh cavities upon the earth like sucking moss because it doesn't want to wait for the flesh to cool. The teeth melt as they're cremated alive. The host looks towards the camera. Come on, Jim. Focusing on her pain. We might need it for later. Several members of the audience laughs. Paula sits up as her neck wrenches back as if by spasm. Her mouth opens wide and a thick black smoke begins to spew forth. And there you go, Randy. Referring to the third panelist on the far left, Randy Jackson. Take a deep breath. You might be able to join her in hell. I'll do that shit in my own home, Ryan. Just take off the mask. We're not even on the air right now. This, the host tucks at the cheeks with his left hand. This is real. They'll have to rip it off. You're alive with the words. You're alive with the words, right? I'm alive with the words. This is followed by 2 minutes of silence from the host, judges, and audience. After that, Seacrest, Cowell, and Jackson imitate Paula, emitting smoke upwards from the mouth into the studio. At no point does the audience audibly react. This continues until the end of the episode, with the camera angle focused on the judges, occasionally interspersed with a close-up of an audience member frozen in shock or weeping silently. What the fuck? What the fuck happened? That is such a weird twist. So What does that mean, though? Let me check something, guys, real quick. That's real quick. Okay, that's that. Clear. What about here? Okay, we're good. Friday 5th, 10th. As efforts made to enforce the protocol of Fluff reached a peak behavior consistent with description of Ultra syndrome reaches its zenith. Foundation protocol find Ultra syndrome suffers in the streets claiming to be following smoke as outlined in the text. See document document A. The event is presented to news as a result of a foodborne parasite, and individuals are instructed to report to local hospitals where the foundation provides amnestic therapy. A total of 400 individuals in the US and 300 individuals in Britain are located and treated with Class B amnestics. Note, this indicates that efforts prior to the 5th, 10th, 5th in Britain were much less sufficient than previously thought. Further inquiry recommended. Broadcast intercepted by protocol of Fluff on daytime talk show. Host on episode alone. The studio is dark and apparently contain no audience. The host carries a lit candle for illumination. 2 cameras are used, though it is unknown how they were being operated. One is set up to capture in the seat across from her. One is directly in front of her. Gonna make myself a bit more comfortable, guys. Yeah, like that. There we go. Greets the audience. Scroll down, please. Greets the audience. Her face lit from below. Her face is flushed and bears the smeared makeup indicating recent crying. She explains in a flat voice that the light in the studio have been shut off, an act which she finds preferable as she does not want to see what's in here. She conducts an interview which she claims is with comedian Dave Chappelle. However, he's never seen nor is the chair he's claimed to be seated in, and no response to her questions is audible. She reacted to hearing some responses, however, sometimes breaking into laughter or wiping tears from her eyes. Subjects range from the mundane, the latest season of the sketch comedy series Chappelle's Show, to more anomalous topics such as astronomical events related to the text of SCP-1425, included redacted. At the 20th-minute mark, is speaking directly into the camera when she is interrupted by a black gloved hand gripping her mouth from behind. A muffled scream is heard from the host as she is pulled backwards from her seat, and the candle's light is snuffed below the frame. Foundation agents who were deployed to the studio arrive, presuming that statements that the show was airing live were accurate. 6 minutes after this event, the studio is completely empty with no signs of recent activity. She gone. Last one. Hopefully the next part is not as long. Day 20, Saturday, 5th, 11th, and onward. Fewer than copies of SCP-1425 are believed to be extant in society, not counting on any which remain directly in the hands of the Fifth Church. How, over the next week, a further 200 sufferers of Ultra syndrome are cured and released. And 24 celebrities offer apologies for erratic behavior displaying during the SCP-1425 event. Note that all personalities involved in televised incidents claim to have no memory of the events, including any crew and audience member present. Continued monitor of subjects treated for Ultra syndrome indicates no apparent long-term effects. Protocol of Fluff enters its final stage. The first part involves continuous international surveillance for SB-1425 related incidents and redacted. Since then, only one broadcast has been interrupted to the protocol, a British celebrity news program which aired footage of Prince Harry data expunged, consistent with the 5/10 broadcast. The second part consists of the systematic elimination of all records of star signal, Orca syndrome, and any related incidents from public record and public history. All film and print records of SB-1425 related events have been eradicated. Unclassed amnestic program dash left data expunged. Measures to neutralize the Fifth Church as a threat to the goals of the Foundation are put into planning phases in a mission which would later be designated Operation Stargazer. See Stargazer documentation. Please, level 3 clearance, that does not be too long. Oh, this is good. Okay. If you're learning of Event 1425 for the first time, the details reported that may come as a surprise. It's hard to notion to swallow, even for a Foundation researcher, that we could cut 3 weeks of Western culture from memory and history. That doubt is justified. Now I'm getting hungry as well. The party line is that the SCP Foundation is all capable and all prepared, but if you're reading this, you've earned a little candor. This the incontrovertible fact of Event 1425 is that we got lucky. Circumstances won the day for a number of reasons. These reasons are not listed in the event log. All omissions leave helpful little notes behind. 1. The situation was much more worse than we realized. In case you haven't been here long enough to learn to read between the lines, this wasn't just a containment breach. One reality warping, memetically active fantasy book outside of a custody is a containment breach. A million such objects and uncontained circulation will, well, the official term impending CK class reality restructuring event, and they would have gotten away with it too, as I'm about to explain. Gotta push through. 2. The cleanup in England was a fiasco. The eradication of SB-1425 from Great Britain failed substantially, and we didn't realize it until it was nearly too late. On Sunday, a day after the officially marked end date of the event, there was an existential shift during a royal parade when thousands of loyal subjects were together on the streets. From 11 to 11:45, London looked to anyone paying attention like it had been dismembered and soon back together with a Glasgow smile and things wriggling under the skin. Even I will not describe what they did to the Queen. Nobody remembers it, of course, and the only camera that captured it was an old Betamax camcorder. Yes, we have the tape. It's a taste of what would have happened if we had not acted quickly or effectively, or if we hadn't been assisted. 3. We had help. We had a lot of it. For one, the Fifth Church was covering up its own actions for us, especially once its focus shifted from remaking the world to damage control and PR integrity. We don't know how they managed to keep basically everyone from discussing the actual content of SB-1425, chalk it up to mind control. Know how they keep the memories out of the heads of any eyewitnesses, including studio audiences. Chalk it up to reality bending, I suppose, but the secrecy did half of our work for us. I should add that further action redacted covers a lot of messy business. Most of it was taken out in case the Fifth Church got their hands on the information, but I'm getting ahead of myself. One such point is the full cooperation of the FCC and Ofcom in allowing us to kill broadcasts whenever we required. The favor we did them to make them owe us like that is beyond even my clearance. Especially the FCC. Family Guy sang about them. 4. It wasn't enough. Protocol Ophiuchus, spookiest of all spook shows, was a massive expenditure of resources, which did a lot of good, but it wasn't a complete success. Our experts' procedures for avoiding star signals in the public consciousness, primary among them being the expectation that the cover story, which would be swallowed in society, attention would move on, left certain gaps behind. To say the least, another point in the protocol was a certain SCP object which was to be used only if absolutely necessary, and was used, and we used it. We're still dealing with the consequence of activating Project Leith, but I do not regret the decision. Sometimes you have to cut deeper into the wound to clean the infection. Five, the EID's lucky number. Apparently, we were betrayed. The investigation carried out in England sites uncovered the reason that Ophiuchus was less effective there. 50th, infiltration, another secret of the church, leaking in acolytes under our radar for a year, maybe longer. Needless to say, we purged the English sides of any mole so quick that it make your head spin. That is, unless you're south from 50th and it does that already. I leave you with a warning. Command's stance on the topic is that the sleepers have been eradicated, but it is my belief that the operation was not local. If at any point you detect a whiff of bullshit or smoke, for that matter, tell your director, hell, tell me, and if you're 50th yourself and you're reading this, I'll only congratulate you on your success. But I should ask, does the phrase 8 times 8 times, is that supposed to be that, mean anything to you? It does to me. Make sure to ask your deacon. J. Elmeyer, Director, EID, Liverpool, 8th, 15th, 2006. What a crazy one that one was. Like, damn, that was wild. That was a wild ride, and we managed to pull through. We still got 4 more to go. I hope they're not that long.